So when you are in the room, it's more
Yeah.
important to just be in the room. You have to represent. I had this experience when I was a television news anchor. I had this experience when I was a television news anchor, and I had to point out to management and staff that I wasn't just a person of color. I was a black woman. And those can be two different things because sometimes they say, oh, we have a person of color and we can check her off the tally versus no, you have an actual black woman in the room. So I'm going to speak from my unique black woman perspective, not speaking for all black women, but speaking from my lived experience as a black woman and not as a general concept and idea as a POC. Right. Because those are two different
Yeah.
ideas. And so don't just be excited that you're in a room. Yes, that's one level of achievement is that you got invited to the room or you found your way in. But once you get in that room, be clear, scope it out. I ain't saying coming in talking, but just see what's going on and figure
Be
out how
in the
you
room.
can contribute. Figure how you can leave more than just a cent in the chair. Leave something that is building and encouraging and pouring into. So guess what? That's how you get invited to the next room because you added something to this one.
No, you added value. And absolutely, that is how you get invited back to the room. That is something that I learned along the way. I will say, while I have those moments of the syndrome, I don't necessarily hide myself. It's just there's an element of angst and
Yeah.
uncertainty that exists while I'm showing up at the same time. And so that's just also to speak to the humanity that shows up. Many people think being brave or being bold is must mean the absence of no fear or no nervousness, but that's not true.
Right.
Sometimes those things coexist, and a lot of times those things coexist. It's, are you going to do it anyway?
Do
Are
it
you going to
anyway.
choose it anyway? Are you
Mhm.
going to be it anyway? And so you're right. If I'm going to be in the room, let me show up well that I may add value to the room. Because when I add value to the room, they want more of it. And
Mhm.
they start inviting you to more rooms. And that's honestly how my story has been, where
Mhm.
I am invited and I'm welcomed. Major, can you come here? Can you do this? And it feels kind of cool to have moments where I'm like, I won't be able to make this one, but thank you so much for thinking
Thanks
of
for
me.
thinking of me. When you were at the Grammys, I didn't see the Grammys that night. I think I had a show. A friend of
Mm.
mine said, "Hey, is that your friend? Remember in the cowboy outfit or something?" And I was
Yeah,
like, "I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know what you're talking about. I'm not looking at it." The comment she made to me was, "He was so happy for everybody."
Yes. That's
And
my
so
heart.
I'm
That is who
saying,
I am
but
always.
you don't know who is watching and noticing and saying, who is this? Somebody might be watching and might not realize you had actually nominated artist yourself because
Yeah.
of how you express sincere joy for people that were having
Yes.
that moment, right? Because a lot of times people just try to play it cool. Oh, I'm amongst, I'm a one of. And so I'm saying when people show up in the room, it's so much more than just being in the room, positive and
Yes.
negative, right? Because some people, oh, if they're in the room, count me out. I'm gonna go the other way because they don't even know how to manage themselves when they get in the
Yeah.
room. I'm gonna manage myself and leave, right? So I think the imposter syndrome of it, I feel like so many people have put language to that. And what's unfortunate, and it's totally separate. I feel like imposter syndrome and DEI is kind of the same conversation.
Mm.
Because the tour I'm on right now, I am the minority in that I am the black woman on
Yeah.
the tour, and we go to different places in these cities, and we're in Middle America, and we're in Iowa, and we're in Nebraska, and we're in Arkansas. We're in these places where DEI is the devil, and I go
Mm.
into these rooms with these people. And what I absolutely know for sure is that I'm probably the most able-bodied and overqualified person in the space for whatever we talk about. So if anybody is benefiting from a DEI situation, it's not the one they looking at. Right. And so when I walk into rooms, I'm like, hey, God placed me here to be a blessing and to leave some light. And so I don't get nervous in those spaces. I get excited because I'm like, well, I couldn't have figured out how to put myself here. So if you drop me over here, let me go ahead and show what this is. Let me show them why I was here. And and I encourage
Mm.
more people to realize that your light, and that's the most intimidating thing about all of us, right? We fear our light more than anything else. That's why a lot of people won't even try. But when I tell you, when you start getting a taste of of honing in on how to share your gift effectively. When you start honing, that's in performance. That's in, with you, I know is how you do your call and response and how you can feel, okay, I'm bringing these people with me wherever they were when they bought this ticket or were in this audience. I'm going to bring them to where I am. Once you start realizing your ability to affect people and change the temperature in the room, man, it's empowering, it's
Yeah.
positive, it's addicting, and you can't
One
wait to
of
get
the
into the next room, right?
one of the things that you called out was your friend saying he was so happy for everyone, right? I am known now for being the one who cheers everyone on and
Mhm.
encourages everyone. And so much so that the people even that I admire, that I think they've got their stuff together, come to me for the good major pep talk, the
Mhm.
major hope pep talk, like tell me something that's gonna remind me that I belong in this
Yeah.
space. And I'm like, you need the reminder. But that's when
Right.
I realize how human we all are. But one of the things that that I think is very, very key in all of this is that there's room for us all in the room.
Yep.
I think because we magnify those who we admire, we assume that the space that they take up leaves very little space for us to also show up.
Mm.
But these rooms have enough room for all of us to show up well. And I know you've been to a few spaces where when everybody shows up, it's a good
Mhm.
time.
Mhm. Yeah.
I am so happy for a Kiki Palmer
Mhm.
who is unapologetically showing up in the room she is welcome to. She has evolved to this unapologetic showing up.
Yeah.
I am so happy for even my brother Morris Chestnut, who's now on this new wave of the next phase of the Morris Chestnut greatness,
Mhm.
showing up in rooms and laughing more because he's an introvert actually, and he's showing up just positive and strong, and his wife Pam is supporting it, and they're just showing up, and it's good energy. And I'm seeing all of these folks that are showing up and showing up and showing up and showing up, and even the new faces, the new talent, and all of this stuff. There is room for all of us in the room.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
This is
Whether you
so
have
good,
credentials or not.
whether you have credentials or not. The credential, the credential truly is your authenticity. That's
Yes.
the credential. Yeah, you start to question it when you're trying to keep up a facade because that can't be credentialed. Yeah.
The authenticity, and I also believe a secure sense of self. I feel like people can pick up if you like yourself, right? And they don't
That is
mind
so
being
true.
around you when you do, right? Because then they don't feel like, okay, they're just trying to be around me to get something from me, or they only feel better when they're standing next to me. Like when you walk into the room fully loaded, they're like, oh, who is this? You can roll. Let's go. Because you ain't gonna be taken from me all the time. You bringing something to me, right?
Secure people, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Secure people, yes. I do believe that I've witnessed it. I've literally sat next to the people that murmur and say all the things when they see someone else showing up fully. I've seen people that I would think should not be threatened at all by anybody else literally talk some really negative stuff about people that are just showing up well. And I've had to
Right.
correct them in the moment to say, nah, you're doing a lot. You're 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 doing a lot right now. They are being true to them and they're doing it well.
You know,
There's
a
room
great
for all of
example of
us.
that, I think,
Yeah.
happens a lot in comedy. When you see
Yes.
you'll see these pictures of, like, let's say Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, and you'll see these when they're hanging out, and it's like that masterful picture. And then there's always another comedian that you've heard of and is doing well for themselves, wink wink, that is somewhere talking negative about another
Isn't that
comedian. And you're
crazy?
like, you wasn't in the picture. You just
Yes.
because the greats love being around the greats. The greats want to be surrounded with the greats. If you are somewhere talking trash about a great, it's because you wasn't invited, and that's how you don't get invited. So
Yeah.
sometimes you can just kind of fall back and say, man, what a moment that is. Everybody brought their best self. Haven't watched it all yet, but the SNL 50th, all these different
Oh,
people who
I'm
have been a part of
excited to
that.
see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You show up and you're like, I was here with the greats,
Hmm.
and that's a beautiful thing. But also realizing the expectation is not just that you're there with the greats, but that you're bringing your greatness as well. That is the expectation.